reaffirms its neutrality and non-interference in political affairs within the state and the country in general.
Police affirms its neutrality in Rivers local government election, debunks of partisanship in the election. Rivers State. Federal government partners private sector to drive Nigeria's economic growth and industrialization. And Kogi State announced implementation of 72,500 naira new minimum wage, effect October 2024. Thank you for joining us on the news at 11 on Nta News24. I am Charles Alpha. We are live in Abuja. President Bola Tinubu has called on Governor Siminalayi Fubara, political leaders and their supporters in Rivers State to exercise restraint and uphold the rule of law. In response to the recent tension following last Saturday's local government council election, the president expressed deep concern over reports of arson and explosion in the state. He urged all political actors to de-escalate the situation and discourage their supporters from engaging in violence or destructive actions. President Tinubu, in a release by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, directs the police to restore and maintain peace, law and order immediately, while instructing law enforcement agencies to bring the situation under control. He emphasized the need to ensure the security of public institutions. President Tinubu said government facilities built with public funds must be safeguarded from vandalism. He stressed that self-help has no place in democratic system, especially after 25 years of continuous democracy. According to President Tinubu, the judiciary can settle all political disputes, and the outcome of this election should not be different. In the meantime, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betukun, has debunked insinuations in some quarters that the police was partisan in the recently concluded local government elections in Rivers State, describing it as false, noting that its decision to boycott the local government elections was premised on a series of court orders calling for stay of action. The force public relations officer, Muyiwa Dejobi, at a media briefing declared the misconception on their role in the election, said the court orders restrain the police from providing security for the election.
To debunk the prevailing falsehood of partisanship and reaffirms its neutrality and non-interference in political affairs within the state and the country in general, as the Nigerian police force only acted in line with an existing court judgment of the Federal High Court. Firstly, the Nigerian police force was served with an order of injunction by the Federal High Court made on the 19th of July 2024, barring the police from participating in the local government elections, deeming it unlawful. Secondly, the Rivers State High Court issued a counter order on the 4th of September 2024, directing the Nigerian Police Force and other federal security agencies to provide security at the local government elections. It should be noted that the Nigerian Police Force was not joined as a party in this suit.
The Force Bureau, however, said the IGP has directed the reopening of all local government secretariats closed by the outgoing council chairman chairman and an end to the violence in the state. He assured that the police, as a law-abiding organization, is committed to maintaining law and order, rule of law, and protection of democratic institutions. He decried the misinformation and outright falsehood being put in the public domain as unfortunate, urging all stakeholders to allow peace and reign. Meanwhile, the Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi has sworn in to office the 27 All Progressives Congress newly elected local government chairman, calling on them to stay fixed at their duty posts, listen to their people, and address development challenges at the grassroots. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
11 political parties participated in the Saturday, the 5th of October 2024 local government election in Jigawa State. However, the All Progressives Congress, APC, has won the election with landslide victory. These are the winners of the election, taking their oath of office and allegiance to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in batches. Governor Umar Namadi, while congratulating them on their victory, charged them to see their victory as a call to service, urging them to collaborate with their vice and councillors to work for the interests of the people.
Therefore, your ability to manage the affairs of the local government will determine the success of our party in the APC. You should know that at the local government level, you are the chief executive officers of your respective local government. You have a responsibility to ensure that you have united all the party members at the local government level. You also have to understand that you have discharged this responsibility with the utmost fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
The governor has directed the State Local Government Service Commission to organize a retreat for the newly sworn-in chairman to prepare them for the job ahead of them. Muhammad Uba, the Kudu local government chairman, on behalf of the rest, assured the governor that they will not disappoint him and will justify the confidence reposed in them. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, Nta News.
The federal government is fostering a strong partnership with the private sector to drive Nigeria's economic growth and industrialization. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this during a meeting with a team from the Nigerian Economic Summit Group ahead of the group's 30th Nigerian Economic Summit. State House correspondent Abraman Jibrila reports.
Nigeria, pregnant with possibilities. At this point, Vice President Kashim Shettima describes the Nigeria Economic Summit Group as the premier economic organization that holds the power to support the attainment of Nigeria's potential, emphasizing the critical role of electricity in driving industrialization. The Vice President believes that if the government gets the act right, Nigeria will influence development in Africa. The current administration, he said, is uniquely attuned to the needs of businesses. He pledged support for the private sector, calling it an essential partnership for economic growth. Vice Chairman of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, who led the team, said the 30th Nigerian Economic Summit is a pivotal platform for discussing regulatory reforms essential for economic competitiveness.
The expectation is still for the outcome to be largely economic growth. That's what we all want. We want to see double-digit growth. This government has indicated that that is their agenda. We would like to support and put in place all the necessary tools and policies that will allow government to be able to achieve that.
In addition to the discussions, the summit will feature design workshops aimed at addressing critical issues such as food security, digital inclusion, and healthcare access, with a high-level panels addressing fiscal reforms and infrastructure development, underscoring the need for strategic investments. From the State House, Abraman Jibrila, NTA News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has acknowledged the commitment of the Tinubu administration in addressing the core challenges of food security in Nigeria, especially tackling the menace of malnutrition. He stated this when he received on a courtesy visit a delegation from the World Food Programme led by its Executive Director, Cindy McCain, at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibril again has the details of that report.
The meeting started with a presidential commitment towards addressing the core challenge of food security and further collaboration between the World Food Programme and the government on supporting food systems and improving nutrition. The vice president said it was in line with the president's vision for food security in Nigeria that the federal government is introducing school feeding program to tackle malnutrition among children. Recalling the support of the World Food Programme to Borno State when he was governor, the vice president noted that times of need, the World Food Programme should solidarized without playing to the gallery. Cindy McCain said she was in the country with her team to explore areas of further collaboration between Nigeria and the World Food Programme with a view to addressing the challenges faced by the people. She said the World Food Programme is thrilled about the initiatives by the government to address the challenges of food security and malnutrition, noting the unique potentials to explore African-led solutions to the challenges is exciting and commendable.
We visited the North yesterday and were able to see firsthand what's needed, but also we talked about a long-term strategy to help Nigeria feed its population and help them help themselves too. So it was a very good discussion. He's very charming and lovely, and he certainly is very supportive of what the World Food Programme does.
She pledged the organization's continued support and partnership with authorities at different levels in Nigeria to help alleviate the sufferings of the people, especially in the areas affected by conflict. From the State House, Abdulrahman Jibrila, Nta News.
Still staying with the Vice President, Abdulrahman Jibrila reports still that frivolous appeals, alleged intimidation of judges and judgments delivered on grounds of technicalities are some of the challenges in pinning the war against corruption in Nigeria. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, stated this at the 6th EFCC and National Judicial Institute Capacity Building Workshop for Judicial Officers.
Exchange of ideas between the two reliable partners, primarily to ensure the prevention of corruption and administration of justice to build public trust in governance.
The last time, the Commission is unable to conduct investigation in at least 10 states of the Federation. This is in spite of the clear pronouncement by appellate courts that law enforcement agencies cannot be restrained in carrying out their statutory duties.
Today, corruption has permeated all levels of the Nigerian society. We often read in the media, starting from school children and students in tertiary institutions, about examination malpractices and forging of certificates, sometimes aided by parents and guardians.
Fighting corruption requires political will, and the three arms of government promise to create strong fiscal institutions that will promote integrity and accountability for economic growth.
The present administration also sought to ease the pressure on vulnerable populations, not to embrace corrupt practices through strategic investment of the covert process of corruption in critical social programs. The two notable ones are the Students' Loan Fund, being managed by NELCO, and the Consumer Credit Scheme under the supervision of the Nigerian Credit Corporation Credit Corp. With easy access to loans, we are confident that most of our indigent students will have no need to embrace cybercrime, while the credit scheme offers workers easy access to money to fund their needs in spite of the harsh economic realities.
Combating these crimes requires enhanced stakeholder participation and result-oriented collaboration Effective integration between stakeholders will strengthen prevention efforts, enhance detection capabilities, and improve the overall effectiveness of our judicial system.
As a nation, it is high time for the establishment of a centralized database accessible to all law enforcement agencies, which can consolidate information regarding financial transactions, suspicious activities, and criminal records.
We must recognize our shared responsibility in the anti-graft war. The fight against corruption requires not only robust legislation, but also a judiciary that is well equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary to navigate the complexities of such cases.
And at the end of the three-day engagement, issues of misuse of security votes and other collective actions in winning the war against economic and financial crimes in Nigeria is expected to be addressed. In Abuja, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
More reports coming out from the Office of the Vice President will be brought to you after the break. Please do stay with us.
It affirms its neutrality and non-interference in political affairs within the state.
My administration took over leadership of our country 16 months ago at a critical juncture. The economy faced many headwinds and our physical security highly impaired. We found ourselves at a distant crossroad where we must choose between two paths: reform for progress and prosperity, or carry on the business as usual and collapse. We decided to reform our political economy and defense architecture.
Thank you for staying with us. Vice President Kashim Shettima has described the death of Richard Adamu Tarlin, son of former Minister for Women Affairs Pauline Tarlin, as shocking, just as he prayed the Almighty God to grant the soul of the deceased an eternal rest. The Vice President, who was on a condolence visit to the former minister at her residence in Abuja, said he learned of the death of the late minister's son with a shock, saying he had such a bright future and was contributing to the development of Nigeria. On behalf of the President, the Vice President prayed the Almighty God to grant the family of the courage to bear the loss. Richard died in Abuja over the weekend, and he is survived by a wife and 3 children. Richard, the only son of the minister, was admitted at the intensive care unit in a private hospital in Abuja. President Bola Tinubu commiserated with the Minister of State, Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, over the passing of the family patriarch, Alhaji Abdullahi Sabi. The President, in a release by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says he shares with the minister, his immediate and extended family, the pains of the loss of the renowned politician, administrator and traditional ruler, who was a relentless champion for the cause of the poor and vulnerable. According to the President, Alhaji Sabi's lofty contributions to the Bargu Emirate Council and advocacy for peaceful and participatory development will always be remembered. Alhaji Sabi first served as superintendent of works at Borgu local government area. Then he spent 21 years as district head of Milali before the Emirate Council deployed him to head the district of Kigera, Sabuke and Luma at various times. The president believes the visionary leader, the pioneer chairman of Jipwis in Borgu Kingdom, lived for the good of humanity and the betterment of the society. President Tinubu prays that Allah will receive the soul of the departed leader and comfort his family. Now to other news. The Senate Committee on Capital Market has commenced oversight of Nigeria's capital markets financial integrity, visiting the Investment and Securities Tribunal and the Securities and Exchange Commission. A day filled with probing discussions and promises of reforms. The committee's oversight is to ensure that the backbone of Nigeria's capital market remains unyielding, transparent and poised for growth. Ignatius Okor reports.
The Senate Committee on Capital Market, led by its chairman, Senator Osita Izunaso, arrived at the headquarters of the Securities and Exchange Commission with one goal in mind: ensuring that Nigeria's capital market remains vibrant, transparent and catalyst for economic growth, and to measure the pulse of a market that beats at the heart of the nation's economy. The committee sought to unravel the threads of regulation, sought clarity, transparency, and above all, the promise of growth for all who wishes to invest.
Since our assumption of office, we have reduced the time to markets, which is a significant element in companies, for companies coming to the market.
Commend you and your team, particularly this issue of municipal bond development. I'm sure that most people do not know that local governments can issue bonds. Most people don't know. So SEC really have to do a lot of enlightenment programs.
Within the halls of the Securities and Exchange Commission, conversations surged like the stock market itself, touching on reforms, stability, and the hopes of creating a sanctuary for both local and foreign investors. At the Investment and Securities Tribunal, the narrative shifted. Justice for capital market disputes, swift and certain, was the focus on the special tribunal established in 2007.
Because of that budgetary constraint, regrettably, this tribunal has not been able to even train its members.
Your cry of underfunding is well noted here. We have decried this envelope budgeting system.
I urge the tribunal to continue to uphold the highest standard of integrity, professionalism, with a view to building and sustaining the investors' confidence.
In their discussions, there was an undertone of urgency, a shared understanding that the market's integrity hinges on swift conflict resolution. Ignatius Nkwo, Nta News.
Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has announced the implementation of a new minimum wage effective October 2024. The wage is set at 72,500 naira. Ajibola Christopher's report is here presented.
And is happy about it.
The decision is intended to improve the livelihoods of civil servants. The signing of the new minimum wage reflects a commitment to the socio-economic development of Kogi State. By prioritizing the welfare of the workforce, this move seeks to uplift the living standards of civil servants.
I have been driven by the conviction that when you give your best, our state will move forward. Let me thank you most sincerely for your understanding and cooperation so far.
The governor recognized the efforts of the wage committee led by Chairman Elijah Evinemi. Their work led to an agreement that will be reflected in the pay slips of civil servants, contributing to productivity and performance.
You have voted us to be here, to serve you, to be your messenger. We will always deliver back to you. We will always carry a message back to our father, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
By the time Kogi State workers will be hearing this sharing news today, they will be happy.
The implementation of the 72,500 naira minimum wage is set to take effect this month.
With that report, we conclude the news at 11 on Nta News 24. Many thanks for watching. I am Charles Alpha.